So thanks, Ishmit. This is a very, I'm really thankful for these kind words. Honestly, before I start my interaction, one disclaimer, whatever things I'm going to tell, it's absolutely a practitioner's view. I'm not going to give any framework or any specific distinct theory. And definitely it is possible to implement in any of the setups. If it is possible to do it in 4 setups, F&B, FMCG, FMCD and apparel, I'm sure even though you people are from other different industry, I'm sure you will be also able to implement it. So you can just go to the first slide. Why HR needs to think like CEOs. Honestly speaking, this is something which is now need of hour, irrespective of which industry we are representing. There are people, there are some stalwarts who said some 2016-17, HR is dead, HR is not going to have relevance, and somehow every forum, if you go to any of the other HR conferences anywhere, it is always an issue why HR is to always justify whether I am having seat on the table. Somebody is telling you have to create the seat, somebody is telling you have to just go and grab it and all these things. But honestly, I think it's an exaggeration. Okay, generally, whichever CEOs I have worked closely, at least for last 2 organizations, I was fortunate to work closely with CEOs. I think they are having obviously people always at the fulcrum point. Honestly speaking, they are not like the way they have been portrayed. CEOs ko koi farak nahi pad raha hai. That's not the case actually. They are generally more serious in terms of, are we really adding value on the table? And value on the table is not just for doing the thing. So obviously there is a transactional way of doing it. We are not going to undermine the transactional work. It is very much required. But also they want to the thinking side of it. So let's say, I personally believe this is a very simple thing. There are 3 things which normally we all HRs are doing it. One is the doing part. Everybody is doing it by default because for which we are being paid also along with the other employees. Okay. Thinking and the feeling. You can just see as a spectrum. Okay. Feeling is on the another side of extreme, doing is on the other side of extreme, and thinking is something which is coming in between. Now, there is a reason behind it, why I put it like this. Feeling is something where if you are extremely emotional, if you are extremely pro-employee, if you are extremely concerned about small things, it is going to create a problem. Okay, it's not that we are not balancing the employer side of it, but definitely it is going to create a problem because we will be so much carried away in a lot of other things. We will be distracted from the real things, and sometimes the decisions are not having rationality, it's more about the emotional side of it. I'm not at all, heart and health, heart and head, both the things are absolutely required. But how to balance it is going to be challenging. Doing part is something where now AI, machine learning, every time, this is one of the most talked topic nowadays in the conferences. Okay, so obviously they are going to become AI, machine, all these things are going to be enabler. But doing part is also equally important, which needs to be done with a true spirit. And thinking is something where it is coming in between, where we have to balance both the sides. Okay, so whenever we are doing anything, the idea is that what exactly is objective behind it. And obviously, CEOs want us to have that feeling part because finally, no machine learning, no AI is going to help us as far as the feeling part is concerned. Okay, so this is something which I wanted to have set the context of it. You can just go there. Now again, as Sandhya said a few minutes back, that culture eats strategy for the breakfast. I think business acumen is another word for HR. Anytime and every time somebody wants to preach, they said, yeah, please develop business acumen. Okay, you guys are lacking business knowledge. Sometimes you are not knowing whatever you are talking. You are coming up with some initiatives. We don't know whether you are having this understanding or not. Okay. That's fine. Okay, nothing to worry about it. It's okay. It's now become a fashion. But still, I think we have to rise above the specific thing. And I would like to now give, I think, 3-4 different things. Let's say, though I have listed it's a little bit clutter slide, don't worry about this slide, but we'll have a proper discussion. Let's start with one of the sub areas of HR, manpower budgeting. I'm just giving one small example. Anybody in this room who is in HR, they will say, yeah, it's very critical. It is the first step before we do anything. Okay, and this is the most important thing. Just keep hand in your heart and tell exactly how much we are really getting involved into manpower budgeting. Most of the cases, I'm not becoming by, and don't take me otherwise, most of the cases, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, we are more into the execution side of it. Things have already been decided. You are supposed to, at the beginning of the financial year, they will tell you are supposed to go for some XYZ things. We don't know why it has come. What is the rationale behind it? I'm not sure how many people are really aware about it, how our annual operating plans are being made. Okay, what is my backward plan? What is the logic behind it? Something, so obviously it is not going to come so easily. They will not share it just for the sake of sharing it. Till the time they are not finding it, we are having substance to understand that. If we are able to add value in that, then only things will come into picture. So I'm coming from FMCG, so I want to give one small example. Today, whether it's a Hindustan Unilever or Lactalis, wherever I have worked in past, okay, HR is absolutely, first of all, we don't require to beg and plead for seat on the table. Okay, that's something which is unique about organization, and they have raised the standard so high that you don't require to beg for it. That is the first part to start with. Second, we should be able to, so this type of my last two organizations, even including Jockey also last organization, there is a belief system that HR should be able to run the business. Tomorrow, if let's say some RSM is gone, okay, or something, my HRBP, my team member should be able to run the entire region, even though you are not having this. So it is only possible when you know how these things have been built up, what are the rationale behind it, and if we know better in terms of the business side, we will be able to add value when we are having this type of interaction. Okay, let's start with, let's go to talent acquisition. Now, some of the organizations, TA is separate, HRBP is separate. Some of the places, HRBP is only one-man show and doing, depending on the size of the organization, they are only doing all these things. Now, whether it's irrespective of which side of the table you are, whether it's you are part of TA or you are part of HRBP, tell me how many people are really taking effort in terms of taking interviews. Today, you can show after 5 to 8 years of experience, let's take example, we have to hire some finance controller, okay? Believe me, we will be asking some generic questions during our interview. First of all, we will be very, very submissive. We will be sitting along with the hiring manager, and we'll try to understand how kya pooch rahe. And sometimes most of the people are having only confined with confidence level, narration, what is overall feeling, whether he's able to answer immediately, he or she is able to answer immediately or not. So now it is no one's fault unless and until you are not having exposure to it. If you don't know that function, it's not that you are not adding value, you are helping them in terms of completing the process. But if you really want to add value, tomorrow time should come where they will say, boss, you please give me 3 finally screened profiles, I want to finalize 1 out of 3. Now this is only possible because there are 2 extremes. There are instances where we are coming across, we are giving 15 profiles, nobody is getting selected. Finally, in the mercy of the hiring manager, they said, "Hey, kaam kar yaar, you take this profile, this guy I know very well, he will be able to do it or she will be able to do it." Now, at that time, frustration is at the end. I have given 15 profiles, I have done so much, I slog myself. Still, so it's a reflection. Whether there is really substance, why that person is doing it intentionally. Generally, most of the people are not intentional in terms of doing it. Sometimes people might be having bias of specific person, somebody has worked with them, so they might be pushing that profile. But if we are knowing what is the real relevance based on the competency, we can foot down also, depending on the relevance of the organization goal. Let's go to PIP. This is the most interesting topic for HR, performance improvement plan. Okay. And again, just reflect back. You don't require to tell anything to me. Just think about if you have given PIP to anyone, what was our level of involvement? We were majorly sitting along with hiring manager. We are trying to ensure that he has followed the process, format, done the specific thing or not. Okay. Ideally speaking, we should be able to add value in terms of what should be the format, what should be the frequency, whether there is a fairness in the given target or not, and ultimate aim should be 4 out of 5 or 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 people should be able to come out. They should be able to bounce back. Rather than it is becoming an organized way of asking somebody to go, are we able to really bounce back or not? This is something which is very critical. PMS, again, very interesting. Those companies where there is a separate talent management, PMS is one of the core part of them. Again, flyers, sending reminders, asking people whether you've done it or not, okay? And then will be an active part in terms of normalization process. Last process, 3.2 ka mean aaya ki nahi, somebody, and then we'll try to force fit in the name of bell cow. It's not going to help. Till the time you're not part of the goal setting process. For that purpose, you should be knowing how the business works, what is my model, okay, based on that, what is the projection, whether this goal setting has been cascaded or not. So starting from goal setting, followed by KRA KPIs. Now it's very, very glamorous to say we are following OKR. We are following balance scorecard. We are having MBO. Good to have this thing. But you really go and ask some HR person, ke bhai, exactly balance scorecard. You please first of all tell your own profile balance scorecard. Okay, what is your financial part? What is your internal process? I am telling you, sorry to say, but most of the people will be struggling. Okay, and it's not their fault because either they have not got the exposure or somebody has not given those type of inputs. So we cannot blame HR ke why you are not able to drive this thing. So this is business acumen is one of the most abused word after culture in HR. Culture, everyone should be having this thing. Anyway, she has already explained the things, okay, in a much better way with this thing. But yeah, this is another thing, business acumen, you should be having it. Okay, can you guys go to second? Second, the service orientation. Again, because we all are, majorly people are from HR, so we have our center of excellence, okay, we have our service delivery, we have HRBP, we have IR, okay. Achha, by the way, just on a lighter note, one of the most dearth of right HR professionals are into manufacturing industry. Don't take me others because I am coming from manufacturing, but I'm just telling you, today, if you really require a good IR people, we are not able to get it. Those MSW guys, they poor chap, they have really done their effort in putting it 12 to 15 years, and still they are not able, they are really sometimes struggling. This is the space where actually there is a real dearth of HR is there. Now, if I talk about service orientation, again, it is not only for those HR folks who are HR service delivery or center of excellence guys. Okay, I'm sure in this room, most of the organizations must be having 30, 60, 90 days process, some feedback, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Somebody must be having my first 90 days ka plan do. Okay, now I'll tell you, I have seen, this is my fourth organization. I can tell you, barring my first organization everywhere, it is like a ISO exercise. Yes, no, tick, cross, all these things. How do you feel? Good? Ya to tick hoga. No one knows about exactly feel. Okay. So the point is that again, if it is a ISO exercise, nothing wrong in that. We are supposed to do ISO exercise also. Tomorrow audit will come. We are supposed to do it or some of our team members also supposed to do it. But are we really going into those orientation? Because see, this will only come when we are having an impact as a final outcome. So if I know that I am spending time with this guy with the 30, 60, 90 days and I have an undercurrent understood, so automatically infant attrition will not come into picture at all. Okay, this is something which is a no-brainer. I don't require to say to HR folks like this. Okay. Second is exit interview. Another interesting thing, because we have to do it, uska F&F nahi karenge. Jab tak if the other person is not given exit interview, tell me, forget about our employees. We being in HR, okay, let me be very blunt. I joined this dairy day 6 months back. Okay. When I left Jockey, okay, मेरे साथ हुआ था exit interview. Okay, मेरे भी HRBP of HR जो था उसने किया था. Okay, it was like, yeah, Tanmay, I know you are working for 6.5 years. You have done a fantastic job. I don't think so you have any specific curse. You are getting a better role, that's why you are moving on. I was thinking, this is exit interview or she's already concluding everything on this part. So again, it was an informal conversation and she wanted to make it light. She did not want to, but the idea is that at the end of the day, we are not gaining anything out of this. Now, till the time my F&F is not been done, I am not going to be honest. Let's be very frank about it. So then we will have to apply for some agency. I don't want to name the agency right now because I have any interest against this, but there are some agencies available who will be doing post F&F done cases. They will call, then they will say, we will give you employee net promoter score. Okay, nothing wrong, everything is very good. The question to ponder is, why can't we do our job properly? Okay, that's fine. Let them do this agency. Agency will be helpful in terms of, let's say, giving the benchmark. What are the outside best practices? Nothing wrong in that. It's good. We should definitely benchmark ourselves. But why can't we also do the same thing after F&F? Why can't we have that type of repo and do our work? At least it will be a good reflection whether we have seen that this is the reason. You know, in HR, 60% people leave only because of managers, 60 to 70%. Gallup survey, Accenture survey, OC tenure survey, you take any of the surveys, this is the normal reason. Tell me in your last 1 year, who has said this guy, I'm leaving the job because of my manager? I don't think so. Hardly 5-10% will be bold enough to say before that F&F, I'm leaving because of this thing. So I think it's better to have our own exercise before we giving it to agency. That's something which will give further value. And they will, stakeholders will also say, hey, boss, it's not that. Because I've seen two types of extremes of organization. There are few good evolved organizations where everything will be done by vendors. Amazing. It's like वहाँ पे HR head is only helping in terms of managing the vendors. उनको एक Excel maintain करनी पड़ती है कौन से agenda के लिए किसके लिए हमने नहीं रखा हुआ है. Again, no offense against any of these things. As far as if you know that they are going to add value, but there is also some work to be done at the HR head level also. Okay, it's not only about maintaining Excel sheet and doing some agenda program round the year, clutter program, keeping ourselves busy if we are doing this particular activity. So that's something which really required, which is a need of our. The third part, it is a credibility part. Now, honestly, if we are having proper business acumen, if we are really consistent in terms of our service delivery, I don't think so credibility will be an issue. It's more about are we really delivering day in, day out, whatever things? Obviously, we will be failing. That's nothing called 5 out of 10, we might be failing. She already said few in a different context that failure should be celebrated. Okay, so same way, there will be few things which we may not be able to do it up to the mark. But are we really consistent in what we are talking? Okay, so this is something where credibility will come. So I'll give you one small example. Okay, last organization, there was some issue in the market. Okay, now I'm coming from this type of distribution driven companies and consumer good companies. Okay, there was some issue happened in part of AP Telangana. Okay, my CSO called me. He said, Tanmay, can you just go there and do inquiry? I want to understand the neutral view. Okay, my CSO was looking at my CEO. He said, what is this? What the guy is doing this thing? तो HR को भेज रहे हो? This is a bloody completely marketing issue. It's a science related issue. It's a very hardcore subject matter expert issue. Why are you sending him this one? But CEO was having confidence on this part. He sent me out, and obviously the moment we have this business acumen, when we are having, okay, by the way, the mandate was given, we have already identified these two guys are the culprits. You are supposed to go do investigation, we have to sack them. This was very clear cut, this one. Honestly speaking, when we went there, when we do actually proper investigation without any bias, without any, with a full fairness, we have not saved only those two people's job, but we come up with this thing policy, which has now become a full-fledged policy in my last organization, which is now helping in terms of the brand protection side of it. Okay. Now this is something my CEO was not 100% confident that Tanmay will be able to deliver or not. But he was confident that nahi, isko jo bola hai, consistently kiya hua hai, he has lived up to the expectation. Even though he is not doing, he know how to collaborate, how to have alliance with the right people and ensure that things are having with a full fairness. So I think credibility is something which will definitely come over a period of time with in the name of consistency. And last but not least, I will say, yeah. So I think, as I said in the beginning, we are having these impressions that CEOs are thinking, ye kya kar, matlab, these people finally very submissive, sitting on the table, but not this thing, not much making noise and all these things. I personally believe that, and at least I've seen it in last two organizations, even my current organizations also, absolutely it needs to be a dependable co-pilot. This is something which is my strong belief, and that's the way I want to say it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Any questions? If or you want some specific example, I'm ready to give. Because I've only done this in day out, honestly speaking. Okay, so I can give you in this other industry context also, if you want to.
How can HR be taken more seriously?
So
a lot of times we are seeing meets going on, we are moving for Rangoli and other engagement fun activities. Though you rightly mentioned that we need to create the credibility, business acumen. But for that also to happen, you need to be at a stage where you are becoming part of the strategic discussions, right? Then only you will be able to generate that kind of credibility.
So I think, see, this is the problem. So suppose, let's say, now just see. Here, who is doing this event? Look पे कौन कर रहा है? Actually देखने जाओ तो Ishmit and these people, they are part of marketing or they are part of HR? They are part of, you guys are part of marketing, right? Okay, now why I'm telling this? There is an inherent impression, people are having it. Anything related to event in the organization, anything related to people, so HR should jump. And HR should always say, nahi, main karunga ya main karungi. Okay, that's something which is, obviously, we can always collaborate. We can always have a right partner who can help us in terms of, we can be always co-pilot, we can be always co-partner along with these people. I'm not telling you we should not do it. But as far as seriousness is concerned, I personally believe the moment, I'm just taking from the thing what she already said about the culture part of it. Okay, now let's say, if we know the pulse of the people, if we know what are the real drivers for these people, and if we are putting our metrics during the right forum in terms of reviews or in terms of any of the interactions with the top management or CXOs, if we are really speaking that language, I don't think so there will be a problem in terms of the buying side of it. Okay. Now don't worry about these memes and all these things which is coming on social media. So it's like ये तो रंगोली competition के लिए, these are all very common, and it's अब वो घिसा पिटा हो गया. It's honestly it's of no use actually. People, you just look at any of the top 3 companies in any sector. Okay, you don't got to go irrespective, it's a industry agnostic. You go to any top 2 or 3 players of any industry. Okay, you will find that their HR does not require to bag anything, or HR does not require it's not only because of the design, it is because of the efforts which people have put over a period of time. So let's not worry about it, it's a distraction. Oh, LinkedIn pe koi kya bol raha hai, and all these other things, other social media platform. I think the moment we are speaking their language, second, it's not only the speaking the language, but we are actually delivering what we are telling. It's a process, it will not come so easily, but I think over a period of time it will come. So obviously, coincidentally, I had an inherent advantage. I've been into line function, honestly speaking. So today, even though my liver guys, HUL guys used to say, कि नहीं सर आप जब रीजनल एचआर थे एक ज़माने में हमारे वेस्ट रीजन आप देखते थे ओके यू ऑलवेज एबल टू डिज़ाइन इंसेंटिव प्लान्स you always able to design the career path, and it was not like a PPT slides of 9-10 slides का PPT अच्छे glorious चीज़ें arrow अच्छे बताना हम grow करेंगे all these things they were used to do because you used to come on market, you used to work along with us, you used to show us. Okay, you are always caring in terms of how you are genuinely interested in terms of growth. Now, honestly speaking, it does not come just like it's an initial 5, 6 years, 7 years, which we, as and when I got an opportunity, I'm fortunate enough to have different assignments, different exposure. As and when got it, I used to say, stand my hand, कि मुझे करना है. Okay, and for just for information, there was a time, okay, in my last to last organization, there was no RSM for almost 9 months. Okay. Honestly speaking, I was working, I had actually taken the additional responsibility and I have taken care of South India at that time on my own. Now, this is something which comes after a lot of conviction that yes, you have done this particular space and you will be able to do it. That does not mean that I was excellent in everything. I had taken help of some of the other people who are this thing, but ultimately, if I know the language, if I know how this works, I think वो आ जाएगा. So buying is not something which will be a consistent process. It will come over a period of time. So don't worry about this memes and all this thing. वो जो आता है आने दो मतलब that's fine. People there will be always see इतना सब होने के बाद भी there are always जब लोग प्राइम मिनिस्टर को नहीं छोड़ते तो हम लोग को HR को क्यों छोड़ेंगे कोई यार मतलब even though after doing so much work we are still criticizing. Okay, so who are we? So let them do it. But there are always set of people who are always evangelists for us. They are always in support of us. So let's focus on those people. That's my philosophy, personal philosophy. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
I have a question on these wellness initiatives which we have been talking a lot. No matter what, no matter how much ever we give that environment to the employee, though even the CEO is coming and participating in the marathon on the activities, employees still feel that as a burden. Like HR should push them. Okay, what all to do it for them? Like we are giving them T-shirts, we are giving them logos, we tell them free lunch. The whole day is sponsored. Still, I don't know how much ever you do, employees feel, "Arey yaar, Sunday, Saturday," or even okay. I've also tried this doing on a weekday. Okay, for that also employees are hesitant. How to build that culture?
So I'll give you 2 examples. Okay. Coincidentally, my last organization, I can give that example. I have that luxury, not a problem. We used to have have you heard about this Devil Circuit program? Okay. So Jockey is one of the sponsors over there actually. Okay. Now similar kind of conversation I had, some little bit, you are very gentle and you are very professionally you are putting across, but I had a very different kind of conversation altogether with my marketing, my counterpart who was heading marketing in my last organization. She was on a similar lines. कोई फायदा नहीं है. You people are simply, you HR guys are coming, you are pushing, we are giving them all these things, T-shirt and all these other blah blah and all these things. Okay, you know what did I ask her? I said, first of all, what is your objective for our employee to get involved into it? That I just asked her, because obviously HR and marketing, these 2 functions, everybody's thinking we know everything. You go to anyone, even Loop guys, you can just ask them. यहाँ पे हर एक employee का एक opinion होगा कि Loop में L ऐसे होना चाहिए, logo में ऐसा होना चाहिए, color ऐसा होना चाहिए. Everybody will be having their opinion. Same in HR also, unfortunately, because generally in an evolved organization, we are expecting people managers to drive most of the things in an execution side of it. So they are thinking हमको मालूम है. So I'll give you one small example. We are supposed to do one time study, motion study in my organization. It's a manufacturing organization. We are into ice cream business. So before coming to this place, I was at my factory. Okay. Now थोड़ा दूसरा example देता हूँ आपको similar line पे. Okay. My plant head said, "Tanmay, कोई फायदा नहीं है. This all things are rubbish. Okay, people are not at all interested. उनको खाली आइसक्रीम बनाना, उसको बनाने दो यार. Don't bring these people for this all these sort of things." Now the moment we are specific to objective, and we are not able to freebies or other things, if we are not pushing so hard, okay, till the time they are not getting what exactly, why exactly they want us to go into this marathon or any of the other things, any of the other wellness initiatives. Today, every company is having EAP service. Sabko malum hai, one-to-one, I am sure, you guys must be knowing in your company. Please tell me how many people are really using one-to-one? No. The reason is that not because of the anonymity we are supposed to maintain. It is because it's a stigma. कि मुझे कोई psychological problem है क्या? Why should I reach out? And tomorrow, even though you said कि we are not going to check who has reached out to them, we will only go for an absolute number. Still, they are skeptical whether it is really helpful or not. But in case if it is possible, we from HR side, in case if we are able to either, let's say, display this, कि भाई, that's fine, no shame in terms of this thing. I had something, I reached out to them, and what is the benefit? Those type of small caselets and some success stories, if we are showing, then it will come. So, the benefit wala part, if we are too much into freebies and other benefits, they will say it's okay. In today's time, free t-shirt is of no value, seriously speaking. मतलब हम लोग हर साल जॉकी के कॉन्फ्रेंस में सबको टी-शर्ट देते थे, जबकि हम तो टी-शर्ट खुद बनाते हैं एक्चुअली वहाँ पे लास्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. बट स्टिल पीपल आर नॉट एट ऑल लिसनिंग. वो बोलते हैं छोड़ो यार, मैं टॉमी हिलफिगर की टी-शर्ट लूंगा. एंड दे वर सो नेस्टी, यू वोंट बिलीव. मतलब यू विल बी, they deliberately they will have other than jockey t-shirt पहन के आएंगे. मतलब that's unfortunate part. Even though we have given them, still they will come with a different brand t-shirt and it will be more irritating. Then मेरा CEO आके बोलेगा देखो ये तुम्हारा initiative. ओके ये बोला था देखो टॉमी हिलफिगर या पूमा या और कुछ पहन के आया है. मतलब अल्टीमेटली एटलीस्ट ये कॉन्फ्रेंस में तो इज्जत रखनी थी कम से कम. चलो बाहर भले जो भी है, बट यहाँ तो कम से कम था. सो वी मूव्ड आउट. सो लास्ट कॉन्फ्रेंस बिफोर आई लेफ्ट माई लास्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, I ensured that there is no freebie, all this thing. We decided, we did one small exercise, which was the driver, and we did some internal survey. It was like a pulse check survey kind of it. And we actually made that program in such a way that people are not coming because of some freebies or some other benefits, but they thought that our some specific discussion which is going to be taken care and not like a false promise. So they came. Now obviously the impact will come after some time. We will have to see. मैं अक्टूबर में निकल गया हूँ और ये चीज़ हुआ है, तो we will have to see in this thing how it is really getting created. But I think we have to move from this all decorated things. So then I think things might be helpful. That's my view.
So you spoke about the value and the other things. Yes. So I just want to correlate and understand from your experience, correlate from my previous experience. So I had two instances in two different companies where in one of the companies where we need to put a person on the PIP, where actually he was not getting along with the manager. So there we did our value and we told him that he's going there and he hasn't pedigree and he comes from so and so background, and then we were successfully able to mitigate that challenge or the pressure from the stakeholder to not to put him on the PIP, whereas he has been successful in that. Whereas in the other organization, I was not able to do that. But one different situation that I had was like where I was able to do that mitigation. I had backing of my boss who was there in the company for 22 years. Whereas in the other company, I still had a backing of my boss, who was again the vice president of HR. She was there only for 3 months. So she said, like, I'm very new, give this, backing to you. So how do we mitigate these things?
So thanks a lot. This is a very excellent question you asked. See, there are 5-6 different kind of organizations: startup, turnaround stage, accelerated growth stage, realignment stage, और like a steady growth, evolved, livers of the world, amuls of the world, के जो हमेशा steady grow करते हैं, ठीक है? Now, honestly speaking, this PIP in startup, it is a getaway of this person. Sorry, I will be absolutely blunt here, and you all are HR, so I have that liberty, I can say this thing. In startup and turnaround stage, PIP is like a get rid of the person. Okay, in steady state, it's a karna padega. We have to do this exercise like an ISO. Okay, in realignment stage, depending on the courage of the HR head as well as the line manager, which will decide whether we'll be able to take call this or not. And steady growth is something where it's like our earlier days of G's Funda, jo Jack Welch ka tha, bottom 10% we have to take call and all this thing. Anyways, it is not workable at all in today's time. It was earlier days. Now, I can say 6 months. Now, I'm giving you a live example. For me, 6 months in Dairy Day. Okay, I joined, and it's a PE-backed organization. It's a private equity. Kedara Capital has invested in the company. Can you believe? In any of the organization, any of your bosses, any VP HRs or presidents HRs have given 4-time board presentation in 6 months? Do you really even able to recall? I've done it.
Don't have supporting documents or feedbacks saying that this person has to be put on PIP, because I think all of you know PIP is a process wherein you have data to back it up.
Absolutely.
Have you given those feedbacks?
Yeah.
If you don't, please don't.
True.
So what's happening these days is, okay, I'm not given the feedbacks, so I just make this role redundant
True.
and take my call because I've decided
True.
I want to let go this person.
True.
So we as HRs know this is not the right thing that is happening.
True.
And we are unable to do anything because this person was not at the right place. He had that fear of giving feedbacks. He never gave feedback. There's nothing to back us. So we are still saying, okay, you made your decision. You've already told this. Okay, fine. So what can we do? Because it's a decision made. The business head has already decided.
If you don't mind which industry you belong to, just for my knowledge. IT. Okay, so it was expected. मेरा back of mind था कि वही होगा, but I wanted to reconfirm with you. Okay, now see, it's not at fault. See, the problem is that please understand the background of it. IT, ITES, consulting, and any of the hardcore service-oriented organization, including GCCs of today's world, this new age, this one. You guys are having a structure where 70%, 75% cost is from employee side. Okay, so there is always a euphoria and it's like a Sensex. Okay, 85,000 pe, matlab there are cases after COVID, people are having 3,344 offers with 100% hike, 150% hike and of the world. Okay, and I've seen those people, unfortunately, after that euphoria goes down, people have gone back to same salary also, sometimes even less salary also. Now, why I'm telling this, I'm just giving a different perspective. Today, suppose let's say FMCG, FMCD, pharma, these are some of the product base and a different kind of nature of industry. For us, it's if anything, employee cost is more than 10% of the turnover. It's an alarming signal. Okay, so here the idea is that because I've been to this industry, that's why I'm telling you how I'm tackling. I can't directly give you solution because IT, which used to have a cost arbitrage at one point of time, today everything is on milestone basis. Okay, your payments, your clients are not paying just like that randomly. They said, can you please define the milestone? If you are achieving based on the achievement, then only we'll be paying you. So it's a different model. So I can't comment where I'm not having complete competency, but I can tell you how we are managing in our industry on this part. First of all, you won't find too much spike in terms of hiring, too much attrition also. For your information, our annualized attrition, I'm not talking about my current organization, let's not this thing, but let's say any of the organization where I worked, annualized attrition is never more than 14-15%, which is something which is a dream for any IT, ITS or GCC companies, okay, where annualized attrition will not be less than 30-35% or even sometimes more than that also, depending on maturity of the organization. So I think what worked well for us as far as PIPs are concerned, where there was not a buying or data supporting, till date, I am able to push with the change of manager or change of geography or change of role. Instead of continuing with the same manager, with the same role, okay, we have always tried to push it, let him give the different manager, different role, or let's give it completely different geography. Sometimes that freshness of air is required instead of continuing with the same manager. When there is already a lot of disgruntledness is there on both the sides, manager has already decided, I want to get rid of this person. He will not listen to us. But honestly, I have seen in my last organization, where the moment we have gone for any of these three things, okay, it has worked. 80% success I had. The moment I change the role or change the geography, automatically the same declared non-performer is suddenly becoming performer. और हाइट ये थी कि जो आदमी को 6 महीने पहले हमने पीआईपी में डिस्कशन किया था वो आदमी को बाद में अवार्ड भी दिया था 6 महीने के बाद द मोमेंट दैट पर्सन वेंट फ्रॉम गुजरात टू राजस्थान सडनली हिज मतलब पीपल से अरे ये तो नॉन परफॉर्मर था ही वाज गिवन पीआईपी एंड सडनली उसको वहाँ पे सीईओ दे रहा है मतलब इज गिवन दिस सो आई थिंक दिस थ्री थिंग इज वर्कड वेल फॉर अस एज फार एज अवर इंडस्ट्री इज कंसर्न आई एम नॉट वेरी श्योर बिकॉज ITS require lot of technicality, lot of other let's say developers, and some of the places you may or may not be having flexibility. That's why I'm resisting my comment about this thing, but this is something which has worked well for me. That's why I just thought of share with you guys. Thank you so much.